information, and I don't want to bang it. I know we've trusted it before, but I'd like to reach out to somebody exploring that. I'm getting some mixed feelings coming back. I'm getting complaints as well. And I think sooner or later we want an update from Xplornet. I know we've talked about it and we're kind of waiting, but I'm getting people concerned that they're not being allowed out of their old contracts. And this was something that I know we discussed when Xplornet was here, that when the new system rolled out, they would not be penalized and allowed out of their old Xplornet. And I've got 3 or 4. So even if you could flip me the number and I can talk to them myself to say, look it, because I believe council was fully in agreement. There would be no penalties for anybody that wanted to cancel their old contract and go with the new one. Is that doable, or do you have or who's handling that right now?
I could say no, but I could say no, but I won't. So we have a call lined up on Wednesday
okay.
with Xplornet. And then the intent was to bring them to council on the 18th.
Okay, so they're coming right away.
Basically, so basically I would let council loose on them. So just to give you an idea, I had a discussion with Madison today with her setup, and she was given a bit of a runaround. So I want to have
her setup at her house.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Right. So Madison called and they told her one thing, and then somebody else called. So I've seen. So my issue is, and I've seen a whole bunch of threads on social media, the technology piece, whether they can reach you or not, I'm not going to have a discussion around that. My bigger problem is the communication aspect in terms of how they deal with the customers. I've said that to them. But what I want to do is I want to do this in a constructive manner with them first to give them an idea of what our concerns are. And then I said to them, I want to put them in front of council, and then council can ask, because I know Ted asked me about, I think, Orkney Beach, and everybody's asking me about all these places, half of where I don't even know where they are. But they would come in, they tell you what the reach is, they'll tell you what your future plans is, they'll tell you what their plans are potentially for fiber. You can ask them questions with regards to any of the government funding programs. But I can't be an advocate for Xplornet from a business standpoint. So I'd much prefer that we did that as council to company. So
perfect. I didn't mean to blindside you with it, John. I just wanted to get it out.
No, that's fine.
They're coming on the 18th, and you've got the same complaints. I've got a complaint as early, tonight, 20 minutes ahead of the meeting. So that's why I brought it up and said we'll get a clear direction. So the 18th is when they're coming to us. Yep.
And the issue of, we have to be very clear in terms of, what we got ourselves into, and we can have that discussion as well in terms of, we knew they weren't going to reach every household. But like I said, my concern is more around the communications with residents. If they say you can't get it, then you can't get it, but don't say you can get it and then you can get it. And then anyway, you know what I mean? But we're a week away from having that discussion with the Xplornet.
Perfect. Jen and then Joe. So Councillor Fisher.
Yeah. So I guess, John, what I'm understanding then is the conversation that you're going to have this week with them on the phone is going to be mostly related around their customer service.
It's around customer service. It's around how many customers they have. It's around what their future plans are. It's around their tower service versus satellite. So can you ask them whether or not they're able to have it ready for us for the 18th to find out what these towers, how many new people are on these towers and what speeds they're getting, just so that we have an idea for logistics wise. It's I was, as a customer, as a consumer, I called the one day, I started at 6 o'clock in the morning, did not finish my phone calls with Xplornet till 1:30 in the morning. It was a 19.5-hour day I was hung up on. I was told that in order to get a solution, I needed to put a complaint in against their dealer, which I won't do because my concern was not with the dealer, it was Xplornet itself. So there's a lot of terrible messages being put out from Xplornet to the residents, and I got them. So I've had this discussion with a couple of councillors, and to be blunt, here's where we are. We've sort of stepped into the internet business. and we've got ourselves into customer service of an internet business. That is not a core business of this municipality.
Unless we
That
make
being,
it.
that being said, we wanted to do the right thing and at least get this started, right? I go back and look at maybe some of our messaging might have been too ambitious in terms of what we were doing. I don't think so. But that being said, like I said, when you look at different governments in terms of what, we're not in the education business, we're not in the garbage business, but, I would say inadvertently. So that's going to have to be a conscious decision of council about where we go from once we have that discussion on the 18th, because realistically, in a perfect world is here's a bunch of money, build some towers, improve our service, off you go. And then we would then look at, as a township, what is our next step? But now what everybody's seeing is that you're getting calls, I'm getting emails. We all become part of that sort of, to be quite frank, I would never want to be in that line of business based on what I've seen.
And
And
what you
heard,
could say,
but-
yeah, and they may not even be there yet. There may be equipment that's not up and running. We don't know. That's why I think we need the update. Yeah.
And that's the other issue, to be fair, is, there was an issue around towers and then satellite, then fiber. This was not a push a button and everybody gets service, because there was a discussion, does anybody get preference or do we just roll it out? And the decision was just to roll it out. So really this is a month old.
Yeah.
But again, I don't like having these discussions because I do not work for Xplornet and I do not want to make promises for Xplornet.
No, I think we're all on the same page. We understand that. The question I
Okay.
wanted to bring up is I wanted to get it out. Didn't want to blindside you, John. I wanted to get it out that you are meeting.
Well, I know
with
it's out there.
Yeah, and that you're meeting
Yeah.
with them this week. We're meeting
Yeah.
with them the 18th. So that's something solid and firm we can put to the people. Deputy Mayor, then Ted, then Dave.
What
So, go ahead.
people have to remember is that when we initially sat down with Xplornet, it was a 5-year plan for them for investing the money in the township and infrastructure. So, but are we going to have the opportunity, John, to discuss with Xplornet in a closed session as well? They're proprietary, so it's going to be closed.
So I've had a change. Well, the initial intent was for me to have the discussion with Xplornet and then have a discussion in open session with council such that residents could see what was happening. I've had a couple of discussions, and again, I don't want to speak for Xplornet's plans. We do have a non-disclosure agreement. So when I have the discussion with them on Wednesday, I'm going to suggest that we do it in closed session such that, if this is, and it was a multi-year approach, right? Because they talked about other plans they had. We're simply not there. But again, they need to speak for themselves and justify what they're doing. I do agree, though, that some of the messaging has been disjointed, and I've already had that. Ashley and I had that discussion with them before Christmas.
That's the biggest upset that we're getting. It's a mixed message. If the equipment's not there yet, it's not there yet, right? So go ahead, Ted.
My
Councillor
question,
Van.
the same as Joel's. I was just figuring that we did have an agreement for a 5-year plan, and we're only in year 1. And I guess they got to put up so many towers and then look at their dark spots and then figure out what they're going to do there. That's what I've been telling people anyway.
Yeah. Okay, Dave,
If
a final wrap.
But
Is that right, John?
But this, I always thought that roads were the most important thing in this township, but I think internet is coming close second. From what I've
Well,
seen
that's
over the
what's
last
happened
while.
here. Yeah, especially with COVID, it's really brought it on, the importance of internet. Yeah. Dave, wrap us up here.
Yeah, I guess every single, well, at least I did, and I know a lot of the other councillors, like we made this a prime agenda item and goal when we were all running for election. And I think it's wrong for us to not approach it in a very conclusive way. I don't think the mayor should be reaching out to someone when he's got a problem and Jen reaching out. I think we need somebody to grab this whole project by the horns. And I think John needs to ask council to describe the limit as to which he should put staff on this. I think this is just as important as natural gas, electricity, telephone lines, etc. And I do agree that there was some, these press releases that went out, they clearly state that these sites will provide service with unlimited data, 50 megabytes per second to 5,700 rural households. We just don't have the data. They could be at 57 and there's another couple hundred we'll never be able to do. But I want John to know that this council will support him if he can negotiate to put up another tower up in Cooper's Falls or wherever we need to get kids access to be able to do their online studying, and we can get into the real world. And I know it's going to be hard, you know, for some of the every single one of his residents are already on high speed. And I know Joe's got his all of Bayshore Village now going on to high speed with fiber. But there are these rural areas up in Ward 1 and Ward 2 where it is just, it's just, people are being left so far behind because they don't have access to reliable internet. I'm not even concerned as much about the affordable part, but they can't even get it if they are paying top dollars. We can get to the affordable part later, but we need the access. And I think John needs to ask council for clear insight as far as how much of his time should be dedicated to this project, to complete the project, so we can look back before we go in, before our terms are up, to say, this is what we got accomplished for the residents.
So if I may, and I know the mayor's looking to stick a fork in this, I think, let's get to the 18th. Let's have the discussion with Xplornet. They're going, what I'm looking for is what is the as-is situation? This is where we are from a technology standpoint. This is where we are from a coverage standpoint. I'll make sure Xplornet understands that, you know, this council is serious about internet expansion in Ramara Township. After the 18th, let that sink in terms of where we are, and then we can plot a course forward.
I'll go to Cal just quick and then, yeah, go ahead, Cal.
I agree with most of what's being said here, but the one thing we as council have to watch out for, we're not customer service, and we have to step back from that. We really have to. We are not customer service, and we do not want to do that. And when they come in, let's find out exactly what their plans are and what they plan on doing. But also too, they're a business. They're not going to share everything with us because they're going to be protecting themselves from their competition. So, but I do agree, but I would like to, like, from what I've seen online, it sounds like we're turning into customer service. And I don't think that's something we should come even close to.
So let's have your meeting this week, John, your call. And then on the 18th, we'll have them here. At least we have an answer we can give the folks who are coming in on the 18th. We're getting an update and we can at least see where we're standing. That's, I think, what we need right now is say, okay, you know, and like Joe and Ted said, we're 1 year now into a 5-year plan. At least we know some kind of idea where the rollout's coming from. So just a lot of unanswered questions right now. So let's try to bring that together.
I will, as we say in the military, I will soften the target on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then you can have the discussion with them next Monday.
Okay, wrap me up, Dave, and then I will move on.
Yeah, just let them know that we may be open to further investment. And I agree with Cal. I do not want to be in the customer service business, but we made a commitment to put the infrastructure in place for many different organizations to use it if they want. Many people can go on the tower at Mud Lake. That's the extent of what we do. But if we need more towers, it might be up to us, put them up, and then that's the end of our deal. They put their satellites up there, they do whatever they have to do. But we don't want to be in, as John says, the internet business, but we have to be in the business of putting in the infrastructure so other people can come in and do business in the county, the township.
Okay, with that, and that was under announcements and inquiries. I opened that can of worms. I guess it's my fault. The other one was, I think,
they presented.
we're requesting